time of endless noise and fleeting attention, when trust is scarce and authenticity is on life support, one studio dares to rise from the static. This is the One-to-One Podcast, where legends aren't born, they're interviewed.
Welcome to the One-to-One Podcast. This is episode number 4. I'm very privileged to have James Dodge with me from Nichols Crowder. How are you going, James?
Thanks for having me, Shad.
How are you feeling about being on this podcast?
Oh, look, it's interesting. You and I have done many property videos together, but it's a bit different sitting on a couch with a microphone in front of me doing a podcast, but we'll see how we go.
All right. Now tell me about Nichols Crowder. Like, what do you guys do?
Yeah, so we specialise in commercial industrial real estate. We've got 3 offices, Moorabbin, Carrum Downs and Mornington, and we just do commercial industrial real estate. So traditionally, you'll see, the Harcourts and the O'Briens and the Ray Whites of the world do the residential side of things. We just specialise in commercial industrial real estate. So
Amazing. And you're a director, right?
yes, recently bought in about a year ago into the Carrum Downs and Mornington offices. So yeah, it's a new thing.
How's that going?
It has its challenges. So I've been at Nichols Crowder now for coming up 14 years. So for 13 years of those, I was an agent, so I only had to worry about myself. And now all of a sudden I have a team out of the Carrum Downs Mornington office of about 30 staff. So it has its challenges. So
yeah, growth period.
It is. Yep.
Yeah.
It's the new generation, as we call it. So
Right.
the next line of the business coming through. So
Interesting. Now, let's rewind all the way back to birth. No, let's rewind a bit. How did you get into this industry?
I sort of fell into it, to be honest. So I left school when I was 18, went into IT for 3 or 4 years. The IT side of things has been quite helpful, obviously with the generational change these days with technology, but really liked the sales side of things with IT. And unfortunately with IT, it's a throwaway technology now. Things break, they just replace them. So the sales avenue of that business sort of didn't continue. And then I met with a very young James at 21 years of age. I met with 2 guys by the name of Michael Crowder and Richard Wraith, who are the directors of Carrum Downs office. And we started fresh from there. So I didn't know anything about real estate, never done residential, never done commercial, which is what they wanted. And I learnt everything from scratch. So no bad habits.
Apart from the sales side of things,
Yep.
what else drew you to that?
I like the flexibility of real estate. So I like every day's different. I'm not a fan of being micromanaged. So a lot of agents aren't. So every day's different. I like the challenges. The harder you work, the more you can earn. It has its benefits as well. So that's the side of the business that probably drew me to it. And then it went on from there. So
What kind of personalities do really well as agents?
you gotta have good charisma. You gotta be outgoing.
Handsome.
Oh, look, it's we're not all good looking in real estate, but no, you got to have. I think you've just got to have a really good personality. You've got to be able to talk and hold your own in meetings, in conversations. You've got to be able to listen. Is probably a good one as well.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm putting on new agents, I always look for those skills. I can teach the real estate side of things.
Yeah.
What I can't teach is personality. And unfortunately, with the way technology is now and iPads and computers and so on and so forth, back in the day, there was a lot of salespeople available and you could easily get a salesperson. Now it's hard to find. And to find good sales staff it can be a struggle because those kids aren't learning those things at an early age. So
Yeah, I think it attracts a really unique personality and also skill set as well.
Yep.
And one of the reasons I love working with Nichols Crowder is because you guys you bring the energy,
Yep.
you're highly systemized, you're organized, and you've got big personalities. You're a bit of a one-take wonder in front of the camera, which
Yep.
is also always handy from a videographer's point of view. But it's a particular kind of, I don't know what it is. It's like this, an energy. Like, how do you keep up that energy? Is that just all personality, or is there things you need to do to actually stay focused? Do you get a lot of sleep? Red Bulls?
Yeah, look, it's hard. Like you've got to be able to make fun of yourself. I think you and I have done many videos together, and we often will have a joke. I'd love to see some of those takes. We could probably make a whole video on that. But you got to have, you got to make fun of yourself sometimes. I think I think the hardest thing with doing real estate and doing the videos is bringing your personality and showing you're genuine and not just trying to sell something for the sake of it. You actually believe in the product, believe in the property.
Yeah.
That's probably the most challenging thing. But look, I've always been the one that, if you're honest and you show your true side, people will reflect that and take it on. So
awesome. Now, we haven't talked about your interests yet, so let's just talk about what your interests are.
Well, I'm not sure. We're in the year of 2025 at the moment, so the Richmond Football Club isn't the hot topic at the moment, but I am a mad Richmond supporter, so I always enjoy it when I meet fellow Richmond supporters as clients.
Look, I can commiserate. I'm a Carlton supporter, so
yeah, exactly.
I feel the pain.
Look, 3 premierships in 5 years. It's, I've had my time. Another 20 years, but...
1 in 30 years.
Exactly.
We had our time too.
Exactly. So I was heavily involved in the CFA. I've been with the CFA now for 16 years. Not as involved as what I was. I do more behind the scenes things, fundraising side of things, but I was a firefighter for many, many years. So that taught me a lot of life skills.
Yeah. And does Nichols Crowder, do you do anything with the CFA?
Yeah, we do. We like to sponsor them. So we do, we'll always offer boards whenever they do raffles. We do it. We're always looking for a bit of sponsorship. And I know the CFA does good things and the money goes to the right places. So we always like to back that when needed.
Are there other charities that you support as well?
We do a little bit with the Sixth Child. So Jamie Ramos, who's also in the BNI network, we've donated a number of items to his charity auctions over the years. We always attend and usually take a table, the Christmas in July event that he does. That's always a good evening. And we love to see, Jamie's very good at showing where the money's going. He'll often have kids there that he supported over the years. So it's a good thing. So
yeah, awesome. What would you say are the points of difference for Nichols Crowder and yourself? Yeah,
so our point of difference is that we are local. So our biggest competitors are quite often the city agents or the national agents. The Colliers, the CBREs of the world. And they're very good agencies and you're competing with some of the best. One thing that we specialise in and we always say is that no one knows our market better than we do. So our agents and our property managers live local. They've raised their kids locally. They know anything about the local area. You'll see them down the street in the Woolworths doing their shopping. And I think that's beneficial for when it comes to the sale and the lease price and also the management of the property as well. Quite often when I'm picking up new managements, they'll ask how often you'll do an inspection and standard inspections will do commercial annually. But quite often I'm driving past their property maybe 2 or 3 times a week because I'm always working in that area. So if anything was not right, you're going to pick up on it pretty quickly. So, we always say that, no one knows our market better than we do. And that's how we can benefit the client to getting that maximum price. So.
Right. And in terms of your the customer experience or client experience, what is it that you what's your criteria for delivering a great service for your customer?
So I think whether it's a landlord, vendor, tenant, purchaser, I think you've got to treat them the way that you want to be treated. I've always had that and I always say that to my new agents starting out. The agents that tend to lie and, can sort of overspeak the truth a little bit tend to get found out pretty quickly, especially in my industry, because it's a lot of repeat business. So I always say, and I know it sounds funny, but always get back to people. Always get back to clients if they've called. I'll often, 5 o'clock comes, I'm not leaving the office until I've got back to every single voicemail or text message or email. And it sounds odd being in sales, that's a big thing. But it's so many times I see so many agents where it'll take them 2 or 3 days to get back to somebody and it's just not good enough. Like you're in a customer service industry. So, yeah.
And what kind of feedback when you deliver this service, what kind of feedback do you get?
Well, often if I'm calling somebody at 6 o'clock at night, they'll go, "Oh, thank you very much for calling me back." Or, they're surprised. They're almost surprised that they're getting a phone call after 5 o'clock. You've got to remember the industry that we're in, we're dealing with businesses. So, a lot of residential agents will be working after hours, whereas a lot of commercial agents are 9 till 5. So, but they do appreciate that you've gotten back to them. Honesty is a massive one for me. You just got to be honest with someone. If you got a vendor who's struggling to sell their property or struggling to lease their property and it's overpriced, just be honest with them. You know, just speak honestly. It doesn't, you know, they're not going to take offense to that. So, yeah.
Who are your major clients? Like, who are what are the personas of your major clients?
There's a myth in our industry that people think landlords are rich, and it's not the case. Quite often our properties are owned by trusts or super funds, and it's just people like you and I who are, rather than having it with in shares or in a property that they live in, they might invest in commercial property, and or they might buy the building and then rent it back to their own business. So it's very much mum and dad investors. Don't get me wrong, I've got a number of builders who have bought industrial land over the years, might have sold half, kept half. So we obviously like those clients.
Yeah.
A lot of families. So there's been a lot of wealth passed down through the generations. Got a lot of families where they've had old farmland and it's been rezoned over the years and they've made wealth that way.
Yep.
And then they've reinvested in commercial industrial properties. So,
so how is that demographic changing?
Well, we just released our market report literally last week, and it's titled Generational Change. And one of the things that we've noticed is the grandparents and the parents are starting to hand down the properties to the kids, and it's the difference in what type of investment they want. So, you know, the old school approach was buy a property, sit on it forever, never sell. Yeah. Whereas the new generation now want things a lot more quicker. So they might want the fast cars, or they might want the nice house with a pool and the spa and the tennis court and so on and so forth. So we're still seeing a lot of people invest in commercial industrial property, but there's also a lot of families where the properties have been passed down and that property might have been purchased back in 1970, 1980. Wow. And now it's the first time it's going to market. So, yeah.
Well, what opportunities does that present?
Character. So, you know, you've got to remember with houses,
you need to educate too, right?
Yeah, exactly. You got to remember with houses, like you might have to upgrade your property every 5 or 10 years, right? If you've got a factory that was built in 1980 out of brick and asbestos roof, it probably hasn't been touched in 30 years. So some of the things that you can come across can be quite interesting. Yeah. It has its pros, it has its cons, but I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Now, we met in BNI.
We did, yes.
And you met someone special through BNI.
I did, yes.
So, do you want to give us that
mention
story? Yeah, better.
So I joined BNI coming up 7 years ago now, and I met my partner Felicity, who's in the same chapter as me in Carrum Downs. Now we're together. We've got 4 kids between us. I've got 2, she's got 2. We're a big, happy family. One of these families where we've got kids from different partners. Yeah. And we both work in real estate. Felicity's in residential property management. I'm in commercial, industrial real estate. So very different industries. Episode 3.
Episode 3.
Yeah, Felicity was doing, and now I'm episode 4. So back to back. But people have nicknamed us the power real estate couple.
Awesome.
But yeah.
Yeah, and so one thing we forgot to talk about during Felicity's episode was a special skill, because this program is based on the BNI Gains profile. Okay. And that tells us to talk about special skills. So, or skills that other people may not know you have, but because we didn't talk about it with Felicity, what skills does she have that nobody knows about? she's right over there.
Oh, this could bite me. No, I find it very attractive watching Felicity out there working. So she's out there breaking that glass barrier, you know, in a male dominated industry. Real estate has been traditionally, and Felicity's out there. She's got her own business. Her customer service is next level. Like the service that she offers her clients, whether it's tenant or landlord, is remarkable. So it's incredible, and the way she can negotiate. And has a thick skin as well, because let's be honest, residential would have its challenges. So
that's great. Yeah, I was looking for something more like, you know, she can, I don't know, break dance or...
Oh, you want something that someone else wouldn't know.
Oh, that was a great endorsement though. Like, we can clip that one, but...
I don't know. I don't think she's got any anything that she'd want me to mention.
You can yell out if you want.
Yeah, she's got something. Yeah. Oh no, sorry. Yes, correct. So we just we go away caravanning a lot. And the most recent trip we took, she taught me her special recipe, which is the cob loaf. So she's very well known for a cob loaf.
Amazing. So, what's a cob loaf?
So a cob loaf is a cob of bread, which has got a cut out of the center.
And you put the dip in the middle.
You put the dip in the middle, and then you dip the bread in. So she's very well known for it. All her friends ask her to bring it when we go to parties, and get togethers. So
you guys can come back for episodes 11 and 12.
Yeah, and I'm surprised she didn't bring the cob loaf with her for the podcast.
Yeah, she usually has one with her.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
Tell me about B&I. You've been how many years? 7 years.
7 years. Yeah.
So tell me about your journey, and then I'm going to grab some tips from you.
Yep. So
you do pretty well in it, right?
Yeah. So B&I, it's interesting. So everyone nicknames it, that has never done B&I, they call it a cult, right?
A cult, yes.
Until you've actually done B&I, you don't understand it. And when I first joined, I thought, I remember Dale bringing me to my first meeting. I'm thinking, what is this? Like, it's it's a cult as such, but it's not. And I think networking doesn't show as important as what it is, what it should be, and getting yourself out of your comfort zone. When I first joined Carrum Downs B&I, I think we had 28 members at the time, and we're up to 51 now. So the chapter's grown a fair bit. I've done many roles over the years through B&I because it's important to give back to the chapter.
Yeah.
But yeah, just having a room full of 50 people that I go to every week. And it can get lonely when you're running a business. Having 50 other people there that are all in the same boat. If the economy's rough at the moment, everybody else is feeling it. You're all there for each other. I was in B&I during COVID. COVID was a terrible time. We were all there for each other. We weren't meeting in person, but we're meeting on Zoom, and it was something to look forward to every week.
Yeah.
And then also having access to we're very heavy with trades in our chapter. And having access to those trades, electricians, plumbers, roof plumbers, any particular trade you could think of, we've got them in our chapter. And when I need help, if there's a last minute thing that's gone wrong before settlement, or we've got, a tenant's called us and the, pipes burst or a toilet's blocked or so on and so forth, I can ring my contact list from B&I, and they give me their honest advice. I know they're not going to rip me off, and they'll prioritise me as well. So, yeah.
Right. And you give quite a few referrals, right? Per week?
Yeah. So, I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but...
from memory...
It's about 35 to 40 a month we usually do. So,
yeah. And you're sending those referrals are going out to...
Correct.
Mostly the trades.
No, it's a mix now. Like, obviously yourself, you do a lot of our videography work now. Brett Stone, who does our 3 Bites marketing, so our Facebook marketing.
Probably get a bit of printing done?
Yeah, printing. There's a residential real estate agent in our chapter. I don't do any residential real estate, so Ross picks up those leads as well.
Yeah.
So there's lots of different types of industries in the B&I.
Yeah.
And a lot of those generally go ahead. So 97% of a lot of the referrals get passed, and actually, the client proceeds with it. So I think we're up to about 1.6 million in 6 years, 7 years.
From Nichols Crowder going out through
through the B&I network, correct?
It's fantastic.
So,
and can you give a couple of tips for people who maybe have been in B&I for a year or so, just starting? What can they do to really get the most out of B&I?
Yep. So I would encourage, and it's not something that we see often, but I would encourage you to go visit other chapters. A lot of people get fixated on what's in the room and how do I sell to the room. And you're not actually selling to the room. You're actually teaching the room how to sell your services to their customers and their friends and family. Yeah. So, by all means, go visit other chapters. There's so many different businesses out there, and you might find that your particular business isn't in another chapter. So go and visit them, get your name out there.
I did that this morning, actually.
Perfect.
I was at the Cranbourne.
Yep.
The Cranbourne chapter.
Yep.
And they don't have a videographer.
Perfect.
So, I didn't get time to stand up and say who I was, but there was before and after.
Yeah.
And actually set up a one-to-one with someone interested in podcasting. So, and I had one other experience, which I've shared on this before as well, where I got to make my first cinema ad, which something I always wanted to do. And that was just a chance coincidence meeting with someone who does cinema advertising. Yep. He happened to go to the same chapter on the same day that I went to it.
Yeah.
And There you go. So
Well, one of
these
my
things
biggest
happen.
referral partners is a financial planner at a different chapter. So, and I met him through the BNI network. So, I'd recommend going visit other chapters. Form a power team. So we talk about power teams a lot in BNI. Work out those core types of businesses that you can refer to and they can refer to you, and meet with them regularly. Like, don't just wait for a BNI meeting. Go and have coffee with them, go and have lunch, dinner, whatever you want to do. But make sure you're regularly meeting with them, sharing stories, sharing leads. But the BNI meeting is only one tool when it comes to BNI. You've got to, they're going to give you the tool, but you need to run with it. And that's where and don't be afraid to go out and network as well. Like I always say to BNI members when they first join our chapter, we've got 51 members, so it takes a while to meet with every single one of those members. Yeah. But meet with them all, because you'd be surprised who they know or what they have that could actually benefit your business. So
amazing.
Yeah.
That's great advice. Let's get back to Nichols Crowder.
Yes, okay.
I almost said Nicholas Crowder.
Yeah, I know.
Never
it's a classic one. Yeah.
They kill for less.
Yeah.
Nichols Crowder. Why should somebody use Nichols Crowder?
Why should somebody use Nichols Crowder? Well, what I mentioned before about the local knowledge. So Nichols Crowder, and I run the Carrum Downs Mornington offices, so I know a lot of our stats off the back of my hand. But we're responsible for something like 7 or 8 out of 10 transactions along the Mornington Peninsula. So for commercial, industrial real estate. So there wouldn't be an agent, I would challenge you, there wouldn't be an agent that would know that market better than my team. And if they do, I'm having words to my team. We live local, we raise our kids locally, we work local. So, knowing there's a persona in the market where they think overseas buyers buy a lot of our properties, and that might be in the Melbourne CBD, right? Yep. But I can tell you now, Frankston, Mornington, down the Mornington Peninsula, a lot of our buyers live within 20 to 30 kilometres of the property.
Right.
So, and that's we do reports every year and look at where our buyers are located, and a lot of them are located locally. So it's pretty bad if that client's going to view the property and they know more about the area than the agent does. So.
Right. And so what are the goals for Nichols Crowder over the next few years?
So we're going through a bit of a generational change. So there's been obviously I've bought in, our Moorabbin office has had a couple of the younger agents buy in as well. So it's all about generational change, obviously taking on the new wave marketing, so with technology, but still, doing things that made us great from day one. Yep. So like networking, BNI. Yeah. So that's probably the biggest challenge. The economy. The economy's a bit up and down at the moment. You only have to turn on the news and see what's going on. So, just battling that as well.
Or check your bank account and see what's going on.
Exactly right. So, it's having access to the internet and property prices and, all those sort of things is great, because a lot of the time the client will come in already prepared. But sometimes a lot of that information is wrong. And sometimes, they're coming in with a particular idea and it's not right. So that can be a challenge as well. So, a lot of the time, a property might show up with a price that it's sold for. Yep. No idea where that price has come from. It's not correct. It's picked up from somewhere. And if that price is lower than what it actually sold for, then what's that doing to the neighbouring property that you're trying to sell? So that can be challenging as well.
Right.
So,
what tips do you have for your clients?
So a lot of my transactions these days are self-managed super funds. So your mum and dad investors, as we call them, would set up a self-managed super fund and buy a commercial property, whether they're going to occupy it, rent it back to their own business, or rent it out. Whilst it's important to make contact with an agent and obviously, work out your budget and work out what you need to spend, it's always important to speak to your accountant as well and a finance broker. Yeah. Many times I meet with clients, they'll fall in love with a property and then they'll go and speak to the accountant or the finance broker and not realise that it can't be done. Yeah. So one of the first things I always question the client is, the purchaser is, have you done your due diligence? Have you spoken to, your financial planner or whoever that might be? Yeah. But yeah, do your research. Don't be afraid to ask the agent questions. If the agent can't answer the question, get them to look it up and come back to you with the information. Yep. Always have a contract reviewed by a solicitor or a conveyancer. I'd always recommend that. But yeah, it's pretty much, yeah, just speak to the ones that you trust.
Yep.
And away you go. So
Awesome. So we're going to finish with what your personal goals are over the next few years.
my personal goals. So obviously keep growing our office. Our 2 offices being Camden's and Mornington. And we're obviously closely aligned with
personal
Raven.
goals. Do you live at work? No.
Yeah, well, it feels like that.
What's your personal goals? Like, what do you?
I'd love to travel Australia one day. So I'm not a big flyer. I'm all for getting in a car and just driving.
Yeah.
And I think the country we live in has so much to be seen. So one of my personal goals is to do a loop around Australia.
Yeah.
But obviously, make sure my kids are fit and healthy.
Yeah.
Retire comfortably, have enough money. Hopefully there'll be some money left over to pass on to the generation. So,
yeah. Well, that trip around
ultimate
Australia
goal.
may take 6 months.
Yeah.
So you've got to get,
got to get retired
as a
first.
director, you've got to get Nichols Crowder up to that stage where you can walk away.
Yeah.
And the culture's there and everyone's.
Yeah, it's real estate. It's a career. You can't. It's not a job. I say this to many people that are starting out in real estate. You've got to be prepared that it's part of your life, and finding that work-life balance can be challenging. Having the thick skin can be challenging as well. But I always say while you're doing it, throw 100% into it, and then if you're not 100% into the real estate, then maybe it's time to give it up. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a feeling you'll be there for a long time.
Possibly, yeah. It's starting to go grey.
At least you still got it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, James, for being my guest number 4.
Number 4, lucky 4.
The One-to-One podcast. It's my favourite number 2.
There we go.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. See you later.
In a world on the brink of cognitive extinction, armed with nothing but microphones, caffeine, and questionable business advice, the cast of The One-to-One Rise Again, recorded in the Assertive Media Video Podcast Studio, deep in Melbourne's southeast. Yes, it's for hire. This is The One-to-One Podcast saving humanity, one slightly awkward handshake at a time.